The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's James here for Cave Dweller Music. Brendan, my usual co-host, is not with us. He might be later, but he's got some prior commitments right now. Today we have Dan Dolby of Trepanation Recordings in the UK and Rodger Mortis of Curse Monk Records in Ireland. Thanks for coming on the show. Great to have you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem. So for anyone who reads our site, you probably know that we have a pretty good relationship with both of these labels. We cover a lot of their content, and they make it very easy to do that because they keep putting out great content. So I just wanted to start by saying to you guys, both of you, that I really respect both your labels and the music that you put out, not just because of the consistency, but the quality, and that you both take a chance on music that, you know, I mean, a lot of labels, they find a niche sound and they stick to that, and this is what we do, but both of you guys really push the boundaries, and if you find a band that you like, that you think is good, you put it out regardless of sound, and I really respect that.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's I've got such a eclectic music taste that I don't think I could ever stick to one one particular type of music. So it's good that people listen and appreciate it, because yeah, I don't think I'll stop doing that anytime soon.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Oh, what was that, sorry?
I said I couldn't agree more with Dan there. It's, you know, if something's good and it comes up, put it out. If I listen to it myself, I'm going to put it out, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. I mean, you can kind of tell when you're listening to labels' music if it's something they're putting out because they think it will make money, or if there's something they put out because they want to listen to it and they want to own a physical copy. And yeah, you can feel the difference sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I go for when I'm listening to submissions. If it's something that I can see myself listen to on multiple occasions, then, you know, then it's kind of the right thing to put out. I couldn't like release anything that I wasn't digging, if you know what I mean, regardless of whether I think it'd make money or not. It's just not our role. I know a lot of labels do, and fair play to them. They're a lot more business savvy than me, probably, but yeah, it's not something I could do. I wouldn't be able to give it my all, and you know, if I wasn't, my heart wasn't in it. So
yeah, same. I mean, I think if I couldn't annoy someone telling them about a piece of music in the pub, I'm not going to do any good annoying people on the internet trying to get them.
that's about right, to be honest.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you both, what made you both decide to start labels? What was the inspiration, and sort of what was that journey like getting started for both of you?
Well, I basically I'd run a noise net label for a few years and ran into problems like a lot of people did on Bandcamp, and everything got removed, everything got taken down from YouTube. And to be perfectly honest, whilst there's a lot of nice people in the noise scene, there's also a lot of people that I'd rather not associate with, for want of a better phrase. And that's not saying that everyone's bad, but it's a small scene, and there are certain people on there that I'd rather just not give my time. Mm-hmm. So after that, it was kind of, obviously with being in bands and making music myself, it was kind of, I decided to sort of put more focus into releasing small run physicals. With regards to the other label, it was all just sort of on Bandcamp and digital. And then I kind of I launched it. I'd recorded the first Catafalque album with Thomas, who's in Catafalque as well, and we was looking for a place to put it out, and I was just thinking, well, it's probably a good way to sort of have a release which is kind of I'm involved with to start off with. So if any mistakes happen, then it's only my release that's getting affected, if you know what I mean. So that could start off with the first release. But the main thought behind starting the label was being in a band and playing shows with other great bands that I really enjoy. I just thought it'd be a good way to sort of set up a platform to just give people a little bit of a boost. I mean, I know the reach isn't massive, but every little helps at the end of the day. So if they can get their album out on a cassette, a CD, or sometimes a vinyl, then that's great. I mean, it's never been about making any kind of money. Otherwise, about 80% of the stuff I release, I probably shouldn't have released, but that's not what it's about. I enjoy it, and there's a lot of talent out there that goes unnoticed, and just being able to provide a platform, I just thought was really important, and if some, like a much bigger label hears them, enjoys what they do, signs them up for their next release, then that's fantastic. I've done my little part in getting them to the wider world.
That's it's a great attitude to have, because I've seen some labels, smaller labels, sort of bitching about like, this band got poached from us to a big label. That's bullshit. I'm like, well, you should really be happy for them. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a bigger label and they've moved on to there, that should be a good thing. That means that you've helped promote them to a point where other labels are noticing them.
Absolutely. I mean, every release I do is on a release by release basis. I'd never sign people up to multiple releases or anything like that. For one, there might be a clash of personalities at some point, and they might not want to work with me anymore. I might not want to work with them anymore. And what's the point in getting into something like that with a multi-album deal? As I said, I'm not big enough to offer anything like that. But I've had a lot of returning bands that wanted me to put stuff out for them, which is nice, but I would never begrudge any band for going to a bigger label at all. I mean, I've got no delusions of grandeur. I know what Trepanation is. I know the size of Trepanation, and I know what I can offer. And if there's a label there substantially bigger that wants to release like the next album from one of the bands, then great. I mean, it's important for the band to make the right decision and reach as wide as audience as possible, really. I mean, I'd never hold any grudges for a band going. I know some people do, but it's not what I do.
Yeah,
good luck to everyone.
Yeah, I think
Rodger, sorry. So what about you, Rodger?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's pretty silly when people get ticked off over like a band that they work with getting onto a bigger label. I mean, you've done your job as a smaller label to promote them to the point of getting to a bigger label. You know what I mean? If you can offer a small run of something and then someone can come along and offer a larger run and then you're bitching about it, it doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? But where Curse Monk came from, I still am doing a dark ambient project called Ruairi, and I had a couple of albums out. But I was finding it hard to get reviews because it's a really hard fucking name to pronounce, and it's dark ambient music, right? So I figured that if I had a label, people might take it more seriously when they get it into their inbox. Created Monk Records as kind of a fake label. I'd never any intentions of putting out any music until when I created the Facebook page. I started getting messages and emails and whatnot. And from bands that like I really, really liked, like Weed Priest and Luxury Mollusk, and bands I admired over here. And I thought, fuck it, roll the dice and see what happens. So that's kind of where Curse Monk came from.
That's awesome. Wow, I actually had no idea about that. So I was going to ask next. I know there's too many releases that you've all put out over the past year, but and I know you don't want to play favorites or anything, but were there any albums that you put out that you personally really enjoyed working with the band, or you really enjoyed the album, or you just listened to the album really regularly? It's like, are there any favorites that you've had in the past year?
You want to go first, Dan?
I can do. Yep. There's been a few, to be honest. I enjoyed. I'm a big noise rock fan, so the Dead Mammals album was cool. Worked on that with Forbidden Place Records. Mount Escape's album, Acceptance, was awesome. Just recently sold out of the CD run for that, but I'm doing a second pressing of it. Obviously, working with Everson Poe's amazing. May's a great person. and also Concrete Ships. They've been great guys to work with. I mean, their album did great. It got great reviews, to the extent where we're releasing it on vinyl as well, which doesn't happen very often. You know, there's been so many. Apnea, they're great, bunch of lads. And then coming up, we've got some more Everson Poe. A Sea of Dead Trees album is bloody marvelous.
Awesome.
Still, their album is, to be honest, I don't quite know how I've managed to release that because they're amazing. I'm just glad they're on the label. That's coming out on vinyl as well. I could go on, and I don't mean to miss anyone out if I have. That was just releases from this year off the top of my head. But again, I've enjoyed them all. Otherwise, I wouldn't have released them really. So,
right, yeah. Yeah, it's a tough question. Sorry to put you on the spot with that
No,
one.
no, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, leave Dan go first, so I have more time to think about it. Well, honestly, for me, getting to work with the Mountain King again was great because Eric is what he can do on his own is just genius. Low Stick are fantastic. They're two kids not long out of high school, and I really feel that they're creating something very unique. Getting to work with Nomadic Rituals because I've played gigs with those guys. Like I'd be personal friends with them, and I really, really, really like that band. And then getting the opportunity to work with that band was amazing, and getting something out in vinyl, CD, and tape. Serpent Moon, which is coming up, is I really like it because it's so miserable. If that makes sense, that's horrible. I really dig it. Hopefully we're on board for Nothing Is Real, for a double album for Nothing Is Real. You should check him out if you've not heard of him before. It's kind of psychedelic doom stuff, but it's really, really good. So I was doing some editing here and I was just listening to Nothing Is Real, and then I get an email from Nothing Is Real, so that kind of blew me away. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm putting you out. But yeah, I think I'm getting to work with Nomadic Rituals and Soothsayer, of course. They're getting to put out their live album just on the back of their new album that's out in Transcendent Obscurity was great because I'd be fairly good friends with two members of that band too, Con and me, personally. So it's getting to work with friends and getting to promote your friends is always, you know what I mean? It feels really good, you know.
Definitely, 100%. It's kind of funny that Nothing Is Real one. I was actually hanging out with Nicholas Turner, the guy behind Nothing Is Real, last weekend, a couple of burritos, and he was telling me about you putting that double album. I've heard the album. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's so good.
It's class. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
but I'm putting out a split between him and Wasteland Coven as well. That should be coming out shortly.
Awesome.
I'm doing it, but we're not doing it with Transylvania Recordings, but they're also doing it with Transylvania Recordings, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
So TV does tape with them, but me and Transylvania, we're not doing it together, if that makes sense. And then Ivory Primarch will be out in the fall, and they're from Melbourne. Excellent band. Excellent. Again, kind of very unique, very, very heavy. I think that can start out with like proggy synth, and then Funeral Doom is always a win, as far as I'm concerned.
And Dan, I know that you put out that special edition, or you're part of the special edition release of that Wallowing album, The Planet Loss.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. That comic book was it's unreal.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, Wallowing are great, and we've played some gigs with them. So I was just talking to them one time after we played the show, and they mentioned they was doing a comic book, and they'd said that they hadn't released the album on CD, but they'd done sort of the other kind of variants. So it was just kind of, we got talking about that, and then it kind of went from there, really. But yeah, it was great to be involved in. Everyone put a lot of work into that, Luke doing the comic book and everything. So yeah, it was nice to be involved in that. It was obviously completely different to anything that I've done before. So yeah, great guys. I think they've got another split EP coming out on Sludge Lord soon, I believe it is. So, which
Awesome.
is I've heard the tracks off that that they've done, and they sound great. So definitely a band to look out for following that.
And Roger, I know that the artist behind Mountain King, Eric, he did a graphic novel as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Kaiju comic book. He's just released a soundtrack for it, which is exciting.
Nice.
I should be putting out his next album as well, which I'm really looking forward to because it is. I can't think of the word that describes it, but essentially it's the same forwards as it is backwards.
Oh,
So it hits in the middle and then switches, and then it's. I mean, Eric is never shy of ideas, and they always work out. So I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
he's got some really cool stuff going on with everything he releases. That The Smell of Stars and Vomit 2 is, I would say, one of my most listened to albums in the last, since it came out. I mean, that's just a piece of art. There's no other way to describe it. Like,
I mean, I think it was 5 years he was working on it or something.
it makes sense.
It's one guy.
Yeah.
It's impressive. But
For anyone who doesn't know that album, I have to touch on the concept. It's just one of the coolest lyrical concepts I've heard. Basically, it's how long? It's an hour, isn't it? A 1 hour track.
it's an hour and I think it's 2 hours or something. Hour 80, I think. I think it's.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because we had to put it on 2 CDs.
Oh right. Yeah. No, it is. An hour and a half or something like that. A track.
Yeah.
2 hours track. Basically, it's one story being told of a guy who, I guess, his spaceship kind of gets destroyed and he drifts out into space. And he keeps expecting to die when his oxygen runs out, but he never dies. And then he kind of realizes he's not actually human. He was a cyborg all along. And he was programmed to think he was human. And he has this huge, I guess, identity crisis or existential crisis about the fact that he was never actually alive. And then loses track of time and space, drifting through space, and kind of goes on like a cosmic journey before he gets sucked into a black hole. So, yeah, if you like sci-fi and really deep stuff like that, it's must listen.
Sounds great. What was that one? I'll have to check it out.
The
Smell of Stars and Vomit 2.
Yeah, he has The Smell of Stars and Vomit, The Smells of Stars and Vomit 2, and The Smells of Stars and Vomit 25. If you hit his Bandcamp, it's essentially The Smell of Stars and Vomit is one track. The Smell of Stars and Vomit 2 is where we split it in the middle. But we got S-Band from Monador. He mixed and mastered it, so he put in a break. And then 25 is split into 25 manageable chunks, as Eric would put it. So
nice one.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check them out.
Roger, I had to mention this band. I know it wasn't this year, but it's stuck with me ever since I've heard it. Gord, The Emptied Waste, that album is still, I think, one of the most haunting pieces of music I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, Ray and Hick, they're two friends of mine. I've played gigs with them. Gord are incredible. To see him live is to see him, if you know what I mean. They're nasty. If I'm ever there, I get to go up and do vocals with them, which is a lot of fun. Like, would you come up and sing? It's like, sing what? It doesn't matter. Just fucking scream. So okay, cool. But yeah, they're working on new material at the moment. And then Ray, I'm putting out his solo stuff, which is called Beneath the Sod. If you go like way down into the early Curse Monk stuff, I have a split with him and Crypticum, and he's got an album pre that. It's like Gord. It's Gordy, but it's more industrial. It's also, if you like Gord, you'll love it. So
okay, great. I have to check that out then, because I love Gord.
Yeah, man, I love Gord.
And Dan, I wanted to mention that Great Dismal Swamp band. That was pretty unusual stuff. I thought that was very, very cool.
Yeah, that was it was a bit of a mad one. Nice guys. They'd just done their first sort of EP around when lockdown was all kicking off last year, and I didn't really have any space to do a physical, but I kind of set up Trepanation Digital at that point just to do digital only releases, which have kind of, now things are getting back to normal. It's not really doing much, to be honest. It was more for that time. But yeah, so I released that on there, the first EP, and then when they had done the album, they'd sent that through, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's ace. But do you want to kind of release it because I felt bad for not releasing their EP on a physical version before. We did like a double CD, so it's got both the album and the EP in there. So
Awesome. And then, I mean, the other one I wanted to mention, I'm actually just about to post the review in like an hour's time. Just finished running it this morning. Is Waxworm. That is some pretty cool stuff there as well.
Yeah, Waxworm. I released Duncan's Moonlow project last year.
Yes. Yep. I remember that one.
Which was good. And then he kind of approached me with this. Well, it was probably the back end of last year, actually, that he'd had the tracks for years. That he'd been working with Arthur, who lives in Australia, on them. And they were kind of mostly finished when he'd sent them through to me. But as soon as I heard them, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Completely different for the label. It's kind of, at places reminds me a bit of kind of Depeche Mode.
Yep.
You know, and that kind of thing. And I love sort of a lot of the 80s and sort of synthesizer kind of stuff. But yeah, keep an eye out later on in the year. I'm releasing a split that Duncan's also involved in. I think it's just as him this time rather than a side project. So
okay,
that'll be out towards the end of the year. And it's really good.
Awesome.
Can't give any more information out yet, unfortunately, because I've not announced it. So.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think Brendan just came on the call. Brendan, are you there?
I'm here, guys. How you doing?
Hey, Brendan.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome. We were just talking, just to catch you up, we were just talking about releases that both labels have put out over the last sort of 12 months or so.
Oh, some awesome stuff.
Yeah. Were there any favorites that you had personally of either label?
Oh, jeez. I don't want to be rude. I don't know. I like them all, really. There's, I want to say Squelch Chamber. We got to give a shout out to that. It was some fucking awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I love that. Noosed was really awesome. That shit was great. You know, I don't know off the top of my head anymore. I got to get my computer up, but
sorry,
yeah.
I ambushed you with that one. Sorry about that. Look, I'll give you a minute to think about it, and I'll ask another question I had for both guys. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your projects? Because I mean, let's hear a little bit about Mastiff and Noosed.
Yeah, well, Mastiff. The band's been going for quite a while. I've been in the band for just over 4 years now, and we released in that time an EP and an album on APF Records, and then last October time we recorded at No Studio in Manchester with Joe Clayton, and we were lucky enough to have E1 Heavy sign us. So that's great. Our album's coming out the 10th of September everywhere, and
Congratulations.
it's nerve-wracking and awesome at the same time. The reviews haven't started coming in yet, but I'm hoping they're all good.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Yeah, no, it's all good, thanks. We kind of knew about it for quite a while before we could actually announce anything, because we needed to record a video for the first single.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys at E1 have been awesome. So it was like, oh yeah, of course we'll wait and get everything right before any kind of announcements. So sitting on it was quite hard. But yeah, and then with I kind of with the label and Mastiff, I don't know how I have the time, but I also do a few other bits and bobs as well. Obviously with Catafalque, we're working on a new album at the moment, which will be not a double album this time. Maybe we put too much on people last time with the two albums worth of misery. But yeah, obviously it was good working with Rodger to release that one as well.
That was such a tasty album.
Mm-hmm.
When it was funny, I agreed to put it out on tape and then realized how long it was. It was son of a bitch.
It was a long one. But no, yeah, so we're working on album 3 Catafalque. Just need to get into a studio to record the drums. We were supposed to be going back down to No in September, but with the Mastiff stuff, it coincided with around the same date that was releasing the album, so we kind of had to sort of put the kibosh on that, and we'll probably end up just going and recording the drum tracks in a local Hull studio or something, and then we can, me and Tom can cut them all up at home and add our own bits and bobs to them then. So, but yeah, that's coming up as well, which is cool. I would normally be doing some other stuff as well, but I just haven't had the time recently. It's just been too busy. I like keeping myself busy and I like making music, but I just haven't had the time to do that recently.
It's I don't know how you juggle it all, honestly. That's crazy, but yeah, congratulations and keep up the amazing amount of work.
Thank you very much.
That Catafalque stuff is awesome.
Yeah,
it's so different, you know. It's like, for me, it's one of those kind of rainy day kind of listens, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, it's so good. I remember listening to it and I'm like, wait, there's vocals in here. And then I'm like really paying attention and I'm like, wow, this is layered, and like you gotta it's awesome. Like, I love music when you have to pay attention to it. I love stuff like that, you know. So it was an awesome listen, and every time I'm like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers in there. I spent a lot of time sort of adding the synths and doing the vocals, but I didn't want the vocals to be too prominent. I just have them, because sometimes, you know, you can have them and it just kind of overpower everything. But I wanted them to be there, but kind of act like another sort of layer of synths, just enough for you to be able to pick up on them, but nothing overpowering really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I loved it too. Brendan's completely right. Like, I was listening to it as well, and it's like I actually couldn't tell if it was vocals or not. I'm like, it's
yeah.
I loved it. Like, I was like, is that an instrument or is that someone's voice? Like, yeah.
It's so many layers of, like, I've probably each song with vocals in has got about 6 tracks of vocals with different effects added to each of them. Yep. So it's just I don't know why I did that, but it seemed to work, you know.
You could probably end up making like a whole like track that's just vocals, you know. And
probably could actually, yeah, that'd be pretty amazing.
Hell yeah.
And Rodger, what about you with Noosed?
So I started Noosed in 2019 in August. I had just left the band, a drone doom band, and we were generally playing like a riff for 15 minutes or so, which was a lot of fun, you know, don't get me wrong. But I just wanted to play some faster stuff and some more aggressive stuff. Put out an EP, then another EP, then another EP. Then Dan put out 2 EPs for me. And
and a race. Really
EPs good. And release another, like an album's worth of EPs, The Collection of Filth, which is just out now. So I'm working on, I don't know, either an EP or a album, depending on how it goes. I'm meant to be doing 2 splits as well with Purveyors of Sonic Doom and Gord.
Nice. Gord's fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it'll be it's keeping me busy. Then on top of that, I have a drone doom project called Reilig. I have a noise project called London Fills Harmonica Orchestra. I have a kind of a industrial, like old Revolting Cox industrial project called Dr. Bastard.
Okay, yeah.
I have a new noise thing I'm working on called A Nice Man, which is just really fucking horrible. And I started a new band with the drummer of my last doom band, which we're called Stonecarver. We haven't a name yet, but we have 2 tracks, so that's keeping me fairly flat out.
Nice.
And I have started a small media company for making album art and music videos called Hill Rituals.
Awesome.
So that's where I'm at now. And I have obviously the Ruairi project I was telling you about earlier on, the Dark Champion thing.
Wow. That's
I
definitely...
feel like I'm slacking now. Just hearing all of that. I need to get more good stuff on the go.
You are going
What
to
do
be
you use to keep yourself organized? You know, like how do you do that?
Yeah, that's the troubling thing. It's easy enough because like all of these bands is just me outside of the so there's not too much pressure. I mean, my fiance Mand, she does a bit of Noosed with me. Like she'll hopefully be doing the samples when we do it live, but she does some backing vocals from here and there. So
Cool.
generally, I can kind of make my own hours with it. But like with Ruairi, I'm doing a split with Tom from Catafalque, and we're making a fucking what's the word? Not compilation. Myself and Graham Malkin are making an album together. It's Ruairi. I couldn't think of the word. So that should be good fun. Graham Malkin, he was in The Hare and the Moon, and he's got outlandish amount of folk horror and psychedelic folk projects that you need to check out.
I do.
So it's very, very exciting working with him. Yeah, I mean, like, and finding the time to do Curse Monk and with all that crack can be challenging. And, you know, especially like with the internet the way it is now with Facebook, I mean, you have so many thousand followers, but like 100 of them see a thing.
Yep.
It can really like, screaming into the void, you know, that kind of way. So it can be hard to keep momentum, and it can be hard to keep the chin up from time to time. But I mean, you have to, like, you know, as Beyonce keeps reminding me, you're releasing music that's a niche of a niche of a niche.
No, it is a real frustration. Like compared to in 2019 when I first started the label, compared to now, I have more followers, but less people seeing every post.
Yep.
And like by a massive percentage.
Yeah. It dropped since December.
Insane. Yes, yeah, but pretty much since then, it's just, I don't know, you get that, and you know, you have Brexit on top of it all, and the massive vinyl wait times at the moment. It just, everything just seems like it's against you, you know what I mean? It's
really grinding.
You pull through, though. I've been meaning to buy the Tides vinyl. I'm like, oh, I really want to get it. Like, I love Nomadic Rituals, and I was like, it's just, with like getting boned on all that shipping costs, it's like it makes you like, oh, do I like spend more money on and get more vinyl from you? And like, well, like, and a lot of companies are probably dealing with that, but it's like, oh, yeah.
Shipping costs have got crazy, especially to the States.
Mm-hmm. For me to ship to you, I think about $12 or $13 from Ireland, but then you're going to have to pay import tax as well, which is going to, you know, it's a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
But you were kind enough to have me on your podcast, so I'll just send you one, man. Just give me your address.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
Hell yeah. I'll definitely give it to you when we're not recording.
I
get all kinds of
number and your bank details.
Don't forget your social.
Yeah. Oh, and my bank cards. I get you all that. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, Rodger, I actually saw I think it was your post the other day about, you posted something and it showed you like 17 people reached or something, and you have several thousand followers.
Yeah, I was having a bit of a whinge.
No, I get it. I haven't had a public whinge, but I've had many private whinges to people about it. We more than doubled our number of followers since December, and our reach is a third of what it was in December, which it makes absolutely, you know, no sense. And there's not even like an algorithm you can make sense of it, because like I've tried playing with posting at different times or different days of the week, and like it makes no difference whatsoever. Like you can post on a Monday at 9 a.m., get 50 likes on something, and then you can post the following Monday at 9 a.m. and get 2. And like, you know, there's no.
It's very strange. I was gonna say I noticed a lot of posts from people that are like 3 days old. You know, so. Like if you're trying to plan something, like at least for when I'm like, you know, bombing through Facebook or we're doing dumb shit, I noticed that everything is like 3 days behind. So like when this Mastodon thing came out, they're like, oh yeah, the live stream, if you paid for the concert, whatever, it's up for 72 hours. And I'm like, it's going to be done in 3 minutes. Like, what the hell am I looking at this for? You know what I mean? Like,
that kills me. Every so often, I'll do a 24-hour flash sale, and I'll try to set up an ad. I'll try to give Facebook money, and they'd be like, "Nah, you got to do it for 3 days, or else no one's going to see it." It's like, what's the fucking, you know? Also, you know, I've noticed that they have underneath your posts, there's like a distribution score, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, you'll have a green arrow. This is 1.8% higher than normal, or you'll have a red arrow. This is like 11% less than normal. It's like you're the people distributing it. You know,
you got to do maybe just have people more like just actually fucking clickbait your shit. You know, like have them hit the like button, have them do all that kind of stuff, and then they'll start popping back up into their feeds.
Sort of, only sort of. Like they even announced, like in an article I read, they changed the algorithm in December that the amount you spend on advertising on average directly impacts your reach now. So it's not even just like people liking your stuff or commenting anymore.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
So it's like pay to play.
Yeah, pay to play. Yeah. So these big companies, obviously, that, you know, drop like, here's $50 for the week type thing on advertising, are going to get way more of a presence than you are if you like, oh, here's $3 every now and then for a special occasion type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not the point.
I like your clickbait idea though.
Yeah.
Like
you just have to
get yourself up there with like a, you know, holding some vinyl, shirtless or something, and just be like, fucking sexy. Look at this, you know.
I'll tell you one thing, you're lucky this is audio only and not video, because we're having a heat wave in Ireland. You're in a very fat, very sweaty, very topless man.
Same here.
It's been raining.
I'm feeling you, Rog.
20-something days, so it's so humid right now because the sun's actually out, and it's like, it's like we've had flash flooding, everything for like weeks, and now it's like, I'm basically same way, man. It's pretty. It's not pretty.
I don't know why, but our apartment is like whatever the temperature is outside, you just add like 10 or 15 degrees for absolutely no reason, and then that's the temperature inside my apartment.
Nice.
We're lucky in our house here in Galway. We call it the cave house because there's very little light comes into the end of the downstairs of it, so it's nice and cool all the time. But then you go upstairs, fucking sauna, man. It's rough.
Yeah, I have like a dehumidifier running in my basement like 24/7, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm surrounded, and just by where I'm sitting right now, I can see 8 separate windows with sun coming in them. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, and you got that Cali sun too, bro.
It's like a greenhouse, exactly. Anyway, we're running out of time, so I know Rodger has to go. So I'll quickly get back on track for a second. I wanted to ask you guys, COVID obviously changed everything for a lot of people in the music business. How did COVID affect your bands and your labels in the past year? Do you see a change and shift in the way the business is done?
Yeah. Especially when COVID first hit, there was a massive drop in sales. And I completely understand why. People were scared that they wouldn't have a job. They'll be furloughed. And it was just a case of kind of, you have to reprioritize your money and your expenditure. It's as the longer that the sort of pandemic went on, you saw more and more people actually spending, which obviously was nice because they obviously got a bit of sense of security that they did have a job and things like that. And it was going okay towards the end of last year, and then when Brexit's hit now, me personally being in the UK, we've taken another hit because the custom charges that have been brought into the EU. Certain countries are putting custom charges on every single thing that comes through, such as Austria, and I've seen a massive downturn of sales to the EU. US has stayed pretty similar, but I used to get a lot to the EU and not as much anymore. And it's just one of them things. I mean, I can't control customs charges. I can't control the postal charges and things like that. So it's, it's one of them things. But it has negatively impacted the label. As for sort of the bands and stuff, not being able to play was a big one. Like with Mastiff, we were lucky that we got in to record the week before the second lockdown started. So we managed to get the album done and recorded. Otherwise, we probably would have only just got around to recording it now, which was good. But, you know, we've had one show in 18 months, pretty much, or 16 months, which was it was last month, in Manchester. And we've got another one this weekend, and they're slowly coming. But, you know, people are just kind of wary about booking things, also about coming to stuff or buying tickets because they're not sure whether they're actually going to go ahead or not. And it's, you know, the pandemic, it's had a massive impact on the band. Not as much with the label. I suppose with the label, it's kind of the bands that I've got on there, a lot of them play gigs. So they would have taken stock that I've got to sell at gigs. They're not allowed to do that. So in turn, obviously, the sort of cassette CDs, vinyl that they would normally have taken off me to sell, they've not been able to do that because there's no point, because you know, got nowhere to sell them. But you know, when things start picking up again, it'll be okay. You know, everyone goes through a few sort of tough periods with things, and everything will get back to normal, or some kind of normality at some point. When that is, I don't know, whether it's this year or next year or whatever, but you know, it's fine. And I'll stop waffling on now.
You're right, though, and it's important to keep that positive outlook. Like it will eventually, you know, it's never going to be normal, like go back to normal, but it will like level out and balance out, and you know, it'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know how it's going on over there, but I'm on the East Coast of America, and we're pretty much like, you know, if you're vaccinated, there's no masks. Like, you know what I mean? People are just doing around what they want, like kind of like it was back to normal, you know. So,
you know, over here, if you're vaccinated, like you can go to people's gaffs or houses, or you can go to people's houses, and you can go to, like, you know, you can meet up in the pub, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
well, they just let us back in the bars and stuff. Like you could go to the restaurant and eat, but you couldn't sit at the bar. But now you can sit at the bar.
Still can't do that over here, you know. It's good, and like what I'm noticing is a lot. Like I'm fully vaccinated myself because I was high risk. So what I'm noticing is a lot of people who are fully vaccinated are still masking up when they're outside and all that kind of crack. They're still taking it serious, and that is important as far as I'm concerned. Because
I mean, we're all adults. We can make our own health decisions, you know. And if you want to mask it, then that's that, man. You know.
And like we have the Delta variant over here. I don't know if that's in America. It might be a European or England.
It's coming around, but it's mainly attacking people that aren't vaccinated.
The vaccine's actually working against it, which is good.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, I'd feel pretty bad about like living it up inside in a pub or something, and then like the person serving me, because of the age in Ireland, they can't get vaccinated yet because the rollout hasn't happened for their age group yet. But yet they can't eat in the pub or drink in the pub, but they can work in the pub. So I feel pretty bad about the Delta variant and giving it to them. So I mean, you know, you gotta mind everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as far as the pandemic and Curse Monk went, it affected sales a lot because, as Dan was saying, you know, when shit hit the fan, people aren't knowing when they're going to work, if they're going to be able to go back to work, what's going to happen. Like the last thing on their mind is buying tapes and CDs, buying them and whatnot. So sales it took a big slump, but at the same time, what I noticed was a lot more Irish people started buying from Curse Monk. Kind of cool. So like we didn't have a lot of Irish people buying from us, and our whole thing was like we're trying to push stuff into Europe, you know, and then like get Europe bands. We're trying to get bands from around the world and the Irish people and the European people. Try to big ourselves up a bit like that, and there's a few big labels over here And I'll be able to do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, the pandemic really helped. Like, you could see first month for who they were. Brexit has just kind of fucked everything up for everyone. It's going to be a lot harder. Like, I've put out albums with English labels that won't be able to happen anymore because of import. I'm putting out vinyl for English bands like Geist. I was meant to be putting out vinyl for them. Fingers crossed, but like I don't know how we can do that, because if I get it from where I get vinyl from in Poland, they're still going to have to pay the import tax on their cut, because I do a 60-40 thing, so they'll get 40% of the pressing. That's a huge amount of money to have to pay an import tax.
right.
You know what I mean? So I
Right.
couldn't see that working. At the same time, I couldn't see it if they get it made somewhere in England and I paid money that way. I couldn't see it working coming into Ireland, because
Trouble is, we over here. There's no pressing plants in the UK that can kind of do any volume. They tend to be lathe cut ones. So all of the vinyl that we get from the EU as well. So from Czech Republic and stuff. So it's really ballsing things up. So
I mean, not only then do you have to deal with like the wait times in Europe, but you have to wait the custom wait times as well. Imagine that stuff coming into England from Europe is taking a while.
Yeah, I mean, the base wait time I was told last week is between 9 and 12 months to get a vinyl pressed, a run of vinyl, which is just insane.
So just start getting it pressed now, and then
and you can potentially do it
later.
Like, I'm sure you're proud of the new album. How do you feel about it coming out in a year's time?
Well, that's it. I mean, it's making it harder because being a small label, you can't afford to have like close to £2,000 tied up in a vinyl release that you can't even start like pre-orders for 9 months.
Exactly.
It just kind of takes the whole lot of the money away from any other releases that you've got, and it's just the wait times are just insane. I mean, they were, I think, it was about 4 or 5 months last year, and that was okay. 2 months worth of like you wait and you pay the money. Then in 2 months' time, you can start recouping some of it with your pre-orders and things like that. But I mean, who's going to order an album that's going to be a year before they get it? It's just not going to happen, is it?
Hopefully CDs make a comeback, right?
Oh, it'd be nice if they did. It'd be nice if they did. I mean, to be fair, bands have been pretty decent about it. If I've been saying like I can't do a vinyl. I know you want a vinyl, and if the thing is, if the wait times weren't as bad as they are, I probably would have done it. But I just can't. I don't have this big massive pot of money to dip into and then wait a year before I can get any of it back.
No, same as that. Investigations I put on myself for Nomadic Rituals, that final release was outrageous. It's like, it's a roll of the dice, and if it doesn't pay off, you're fucked. Like Curse Monk is over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same there, mate. Yeah. every vinyl release is that.
Man.
You put that money in, and you don't get it back. That's it. Your whole funds are gone, aren't they? You can't release anything else.
I was blessed about the very first Curse Monk vinyl release, the Weed Priest release, was one of my first releases, and I was working as a substitute art teacher, right? But I had finished for the summer, and the way it works is like you're getting your month on hand. So like I wasn't going to get my last paycheck until the end of July or whatever, or the end of June. But like I'd already got more work in the meantime. So I was like, okay, I've got this like chunk of money coming that I don't need to survive, right? So hence roll the dice. Let's release a vinyl and see what happens. I hadn't a fucking clue how to do promotion, how to do that. And I was as green as the rest of Ireland, right? I still have boxes of that file. Hundreds of the file. No, it does sell but like I released 300 of them. I had no notion. I have boxes of the fucking things still there. If I had done that now and that happened, game over. No label. Done.
Yeah. No. Exactly the same here, Rog. Exactly the same. And it's like I love doing the little CDs and cassette runs because you can do you can do more of them, and therefore you get to work with more bands. And if you don't sell, you sell 5 copies of a 50 CD run, you lose money, but it's not thousands of pounds. You know what I mean? Like a vinyl can be.
If I actually sat down and did the maths and seen the kind of the money out versus money in, Jesus Christ, no way. I don't know if I ever broken even, but like, so long as you can kind of get enough to like cover the next one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a word of advice to anyone out there: if you want to make money, don't start a record label.
Don't do this. You'd be better off being a fucking mime.
You might as well, you're better off going down the betting shop and putting all your money on a horse. You got more chance of getting your money back. It's fun, don't get me wrong, and I don't regret doing it at all. But if you want to get rich, it's not the business for you. Especially independent.
Oh, you're rich with music, you know?
And... Rich with music, but yeah, financially poor.
You have one of the best underground music collections of anyone.
Yeah.
That's worth.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you do have amazing stuff. I'm like going through, and I'm like, I don't know why I didn't remember all these off the top of my head earlier, but like Shallow Grave, like The Threshold Between Worlds, I think was one of the first. I think I got it digitally from you, and then after that, it was Old Worms. Loved that.
Oh yeah, Old Worms is great. It was really sad that they split up actually because they were.
Yeah. And then, Chasm Dweller was great. Yeah,
they have a lot more stuff now. They're on a new label, but like the lads were very prolific, if you know what I mean. So they'd have a new release the whole time.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
It might just be like the Chasm Dweller label. Love the guys, they're class, but I'd highly advise you to check out their newer stuff. It's awesome. It's really, really good.
I think I have it on my wish list. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's pretty good. Yeah. Well, obviously, you gotta love Tombs. Nomadic Rituals, Nomadic Rituals, I think, was the first one that I got into. And then, oh, God. Yeah, man. It was like when he first came out, it was definitely, I mean, all of it's still awesome, you know? But those are my stickouts. And Caged. Caged was like one of my favorites.
Yeah. And like Tombs and the Nomadic Rituals, it's great to hear you saying that they're some of your top ones because, you know, they're local bands. Like Tombs are from Limerick, Nomadic Rituals from Belfast. We all play shows together, so
yeah. Some of my favorite bands, you know, are from Ireland. I love Soothsayer. I really love the Slomatics. Like those guys, like I think those guys are the ones that got me really into like kind of the cleaner side of doom. You know, like I was like, all right, this is good. This is fucking awesome. Like it's just like, you know, psychedelic. These guys are great. They can sing well.
Strong band.
I love them.
Going to see, like, if you ever get an opportunity to see Soothsayer live, take it. They're like the Liam, their front man, is unbelievable. It's an experience.
I know their new album that they just put out is fucking awesome. I love it a lot. And then you have that live album that they did, which I've listened to, is really good.
Class. From their new album, their tracks Outer Fringe and War of the Doves, I actually made the music videos for them from the Hill Rituals thing. So
nice. Yeah, I love the War with Doves was fucking really good.
But
and Outer Fringe, I like that song too, dude. Like all of them are really good. That whole album is great. It plays like one long song. You know?
Yeah, it's like a ritual, you know. But like the underground music scene in Ireland is so strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys got it good over there for sure. I need to get over there. I need you know.
Oh, hopefully.
I was named after St. Brendan, and I've never been to Ireland. I gotta something's wrong.
It mightn't be all you think it is cracked up to. I mean, like this is just to come back today at the underground music scene here in Ireland. Like if you like them, check out like Owl Crusher, Sahora, Carosa, Elder Druid.
I have
Elder Druid.
Elder Druid and Owl Crusher. I've got on my list. I definitely listen to those. With the Kill the Feeble Preacher or whatever, like
class. Awesome. And From the Bogs of Agwishka, I can't recommend that enough.
Which one?
From the Bogs of Agwishka. I'll have to spell it as like Aughiska. Kind of like Irish folklore, but done in a black metal, dark ambient way. It's on apocalypse witchcraft out of England. And one of the dudes from Boggs actually runs, or is, I don't know if he runs it, but he's definitely like, maybe him and his buddies run it, that label, Apocalypse Witchcraft, which is worth a gander.
Okay. I think I've heard of them. They sound familiar.
But yeah, check out those bands.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. Yeah.
Take the opportunity to plug everyone I know.
Yeah, man.
Dan, anyone you want to plug?
Oh man, Still, just listen to Still are amazing, and they're on Trepanation, and they practice in the room next to where Mastiff practice. So they're from Hull. Come on, Hull. Yeah, you don't want to visit Hull, but there's some all right bands here, but that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I love watching 100-Year-Old Man. They're a great band.
Yeah.
Played with them a couple of times. Released a weird chip tune side project of theirs, Saps, a couple of weeks back. But also did the live CD for them. They're excellent. Wallowing, as we've mentioned before. Geist, they're a top
amazing
bunch of lads and an amazing band. You know, so yeah, there's, I mean, like Rog says, Ireland's got some great bands. UK's got some great bands as well.
Yeah.
You know, like just the underground scenes are strong. And you know, sometimes bands just need a bit of a helping hand to get people to listen to them and get people to hear them.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can help anyway to make that happen, then you know it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Roger, I know you have to head off now, but before we wrap up, do either of you guys have any, upcoming stuff people should look out for or check out in the very near future?
Label-wise or project-wise, or?
Yeah, I mean, like for the label, the band, is there anything that people should keep an eye out for that's coming out very soon?
Ivory from Curse Monk, Ivory Primarch. The pre-order for that will be coming out shortly. They just released a single on their own Bandcamp, which I highly advise you to check out, called The Mask. So it's class. Friday, Hapless Wretch are coming out on CD. If you've not checked out Hapless Wretch, check them out. It's like Black and Death. It's one dude from London, and he will kick your arse in 10 minutes. You'll be surprised. You'll be listening to that, and you'll get black eyes. Serpent Moon. Serpent Moon are coming out in August. That is Peter Marcelliano, I believe. He's from New York. It's a one-man project. He sent me the first album and he wanted me to put out the second album, and I convinced him to let me put out the second album and the first album on the one album. So it's a double album and 19 tracks, and it's just pure misery. You'll love it. So that is coming out on the 19th of August on CD. And then just keep your eyes open on the Curse Monk thing. Join our mailing list. Go to cursemonk.com, join the mailing list. You'll get all the notifications you want. And then percentage off sales. Lots of things are unique to the mailing list. So Ivory Primarch, Wasteland Coven. Then we've got a lot of Irish bands. And because of COVID, there's a lot of music written but not recorded. We have Astronaut, Motor Player, Slunk from a Tree, Facade, and October should see the release of The Set, another one-man project from Dublin, and it's horrible. I'd imagine it would be probably banned or made illegal. You're going to love it.
Yeah, so I've got coming up, there's Seared Dead Trees album, an Everson Poe compilation, some experimental black metal from Francis Root and Scon Socrata, who are two chaps from the band Beggar. Corellan, Lurcher, Stolen Kidneys, who are from Finland. They're ace. And plenty more coming up before the end of the year as well. Personally, I did an album with Mr. Helen that you interviewed last time.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that, and we roped in Matt Finney from Clawing, who's obviously done a bit of work with Maurice from Gnaw Their Tongues as well. So he's doing his amazing spoken word stuff over the top of our noise. So keep an eye out for that. That's coming soon. We're called Sulphur Nurse. We've literally not announced anything yet, but it is coming. So keep an eye out for that. I recorded that sort of beginning part of this year actually. So yeah, it's all mixed, all mastered, and we're just waiting.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Fantastic. Well, Rodger, I know you have to go, so we won't keep you too long. So thanks so much for both of you for coming on the show. It was really great chatting to you both, and appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks,
No worries.
Wayne.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll have to have you back sometime again next. You know, we'll do like regular things. You guys put out so much music. There's always something to talk about.
That'd be great. It's a real shame that I have to split. It was just there's two coinciding appointments.
That's
But,
no problem.
I
I understand.
sit here and like maybe drink a couple of beers and just chat. It was good crack.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I showed up late. I was at an interview, and I was like, "Oh, shite, all right," So we should definitely get back together. That'd be fun. Drink a few brews.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, we'll
Yeah,
put
it sounds
something
good to me, man.
put something together in the near future for that. Then sounds good.
Lovely. Gentlemen, I will see you again.
Cheers.
Right.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Right. Thanks, everyone. And
Bye.
if anyone listening, thanks for tuning in, and we'll have another guest next time.